This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
Gas prices are projected to jump as summer rolls by, and that leaves Omaha residents budgeting carefully for the increase. Thanks for joining us. I'm Katie Murphy.
And I'm Daniel Wolf. Today we'll be talking to Dr. Omawale Akintunde, chair of the University of Nebraska at Omaha Black Studies, about his upcoming film Wigger. All that and more coming up this half hour.
Governor Heineman signed LB 945 yesterday, banning everyone from texting while driving. This is a secondary offense, which means you will have to be pulled over for a primary offense like speeding. About 20 other states have banned drivers from texting. There is a $200 fine for the first offense, $300 for the second offense, and for any offense after that, it is a $500 ticket.
Baseball games, cookouts, sunbathing, higher gas prices, all are synonymous with summertime. We're all eagerly awaiting our annual warm weather activities, but one thing we cannot anticipate is just how much we'll be paying at the pump.
$4 gas, one of the most dreaded phrases today. And it seems each year at this time, as summer creeps closer and closer, the possibility of facing these prices becomes an unfortunate possibility.
You know the money I'm pumping into my gas tank.
A prospect that many commuters that live in the country but work in Omaha greatly fear.
Maybe I'll find someone in town to stay with.
Nick Hall lives in Valley and has to drive about 35 minutes to get to school 5 days a week. The summer gas prices are a frightening reality.
Gas prices going up, I have to cut back on other activities I would normally do, going to movies or going out more often. So it's just less money in my pocket and less things I want to do for fun.
The Energy Information Agency estimates that a gallon of regular gasoline will nationally average $2.92 this summer. That's up from $2.44 per gallon last summer. Part of this is because gas demand should rise about 0.5%. Most experts agree, unfortunately, that $3 gas will be seen in much of the nation.
Although Omaha gas prices are typically lower than the national average, when gas goes above $3, it's going to put a dent in anyone's wallet.
Well, it's a lot of money.
Lily Ramirez lives in Sarpy County and has to drive to her workplace daily, located at 108th and Old Mill. If gas prices sharply increase soon, she and her family will have to very carefully budget.
It's about $25, $26 a week, so that's a little bit over $100 a month, which, not too happy about that.
So as sure as the temperatures rise and the flowers bloom, gas prices will go up, and we will all have to find our own way to adjust.
Now, current Omaha regular gas will on average put you back about $2.79 a gallon, and as we get into early May, expect to see those prices spike. And a volunteer with the national group Girls Fight Back gave a three-part seminar talking about how both women and men can help improve their own personal safety. The seminar covered three main points: trust your instincts, being a good bystander, and learning to fight. The volunteer made the advice personal, using the relevant examples that the average college student could relate to.
A devastating earthquake struck Qinghai province in western China early this morning. As many as 600 people are feared dead, and at least 10,000 more are injured in the 6.9 magnitude earthquake. The epicenter struck an impoverished area that was not equipped to handle the natural disaster. China's Ministry of Civil Affairs plans to distribute 5,000 tents as well as clothing and bedding to the earthquake zone.
An early morning traffic stop in the Dundee area led two UNO students feeling a bit harassed by Omaha police. As Capri Walton reports, not all traffic stops end fairly.
Routine traffic stops happen daily, but not all stops end smoothly. Three roommates that live in Dundee know all too much about this.
It's about 4 a.m. We get into my car, and just as I'm starting the ignition and turning on my headlights, I see a police cruiser going by on 50th in Chicago. He's heading north, and he's just creeping along. He's just looking for something. And as soon as I turn on my headlights, he stops.
Chris will be pulled over at 51st and Davenport. What happens next is questionable.
He comes back to the car. He tells me to step out. I step out of the vehicle. He tells me to step over towards him and the other police officers and their cruisers. And as I do this, he jokes with the other officers about how drunk I am. He says something like, "Look how drunk he is, he's stumbling." And then all three of them have like a laugh about it.
And they start opening the doors to the vehicle, and Chris Reese says, "Hey, I do not authorize a search of my vehicle. Please step away from my vehicle, officers." And every single one of them start laughing. "Ha ha ha, look at this guy. Is this guy a lawyer?"
Using an iPhone, the other two roommates left in the car recorded the sound.
"Hey, I did not authorize a search of my vehicle."
So they breathalyze me, and she shows the results to the male officer that pulled me over, and I could see the disappointment in his face. I blew a .023.
Chris will receive a ticket for expired license and a parking violation ticket. When the three roommates were allowed to leave, they returned home. But the harassment by the police officers was not yet over.
And then all of a sudden, my roommate Leighton says he hears a tow truck outside, and he believes they're towing my car. So I run outside, and they are towing my car. It was $165 just to get my car out of the impound.
Lieutenant Darcy Tierney gives us insight on how routine traffic stops should happen.
Before an officer can make a traffic stop, they have to have probable cause to make the traffic stop. Once the officer makes contact with the driver, a multitude of things can happen just depending on the circumstances of the stop.
Since the incident, Chris Reese has reported his story to the Omaha Chief of Police and Internal Affairs. For the Omaha News, I'm Capri Walton.
Chris Reese's complaint to the Omaha Police Department is currently pending.
Nebraska Governor Dave Heidemann signed two groundbreaking abortion bills. LB 594 will require doctors and certified medical officials to screen women who plan abortions due to risk factors identified by any research report published a year or more recent in a peer-reviewed journal. These risk factors include mental and/or physical consequences. The second bill, LB 1103, will ban abortions at or after 20 weeks of pregnancy. That's 2 weeks earlier than current Nebraska state law. Abortion rights advocates say the bill will be struck down in a court challenge, while ban supporters feel new technology will help their cause.
Mayor Jim Suttle and the United Football League will be having an announcement that could mean a professional sports team for Omaha.
We will also be talking about two paintings made by a famous modern artist and what they plan to do with them. You're watching the Omaha News on the Knowledge Network.
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV Crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV Crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Breathtaking. Electrifying. Inspiring. Award-winning documentaries produced by UNO Television offer you a window on the history of Omaha and the world. Beginning with the acclaimed 2-hour documentary on the history of Omaha, If These Walls Could Speak, UNO Television has developed a reputation for producing high-quality programs that explore, educate, and enlighten. These outstanding productions can be part of your home video collection. For information about purchasing VHS or DVD copies, call 554-2516 or visit our website at unotv.unomaha.edu.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on the Knowledge Network.
Alexander Archipenko is not a well-known artist outside the art world, but back in 1939 and 1949, he was invited to show his works at Omaha University. 2 pieces from his collection were donated to the university but lost until now.
It was a phone call that led to a question.
She asked me if I knew of a painting called The Moon Looking at the Earth that, according to their records, was at Omaha University.
That led to a discovery.
I also found another painting that was listed. These records were back about 30 years ago.
A graphite drawing, not mentioned in the original phone call, was found.
I contacted the woman back and told her, yes, that we had this, and in fact that we had both, and she wasn't aware of the second one.
The Archipenko Foundation was thankful for the information about the 2 pieces. Both works are very important pieces to our catalog puzzle. We are still researching Alexander Archipenko's exhibitions and teaching at UNO, and are delighted that our research has led to the relocating of these works. We thank the museum staff for their collaboration. The Moon Looking at the Earth and the graphite sketch, believed to be called Abstract of a Female Nude, are now
part of our permanent collection
and will soon be added to the UNO Art Gallery.
Currently, the gallery is full of student work. However, by next fall, Dr. Carlson hopes to have a permanent Archipenko exhibition.
The hope is to enhance an exhibition using materials provided by the Archipenko Foundation.
My idea is, if we do have a permanent exhibit, to take this information too and make it a part of the text to go with it, to give a history of Omaha University's connections.
The UNO Art Gallery is open from 1 to 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, from 12 to 5 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Admission is free to everyone.
Omaha's history is filled with jazz. Jazz lovers came to the Slowdown to support the Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival. And as Bettia Williamson reports, these jazz fans are not only enjoying music, they're contributing to a good cause.
Hundreds of people came out to celebrate and support Omaha's legendary jazz scene. Local and nationally renowned artists performed on the Slowdown stage.
The energy in this room, from Mike Phillips to Gail Johnson to Max Grooves and Gail, we had about 300 people that showed up, and hopefully this is the start of really building some momentum to make sure that we continue to have our Omaha Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival.
Jazz lovers were treated to auto tunes, top pop hits, and even hip hop.
Can I kick a job? Can I kick a job?
The real treat this evening is Grammy Award-winning Layla Hathaway and world-renowned saxophonist Mike Phillips. They're here to support the Omaha Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival.
I'm from New York, and we've come all around the country to let you know that we want the Jazz Festival here to stay in Omaha. Now, if we can travel all around the country just to come here to make that statement, then the people that are right here can do their part to make sure that stays here.
Omaha's Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival is not the only thing that needs community support. Music programs all over the country are also being cut, and children are not given the opportunity to learn about real live music.
Well, where's the next Stevie's gonna come from? Where's the next Prince gonna come from? Where's the next Duke Ellington's gonna come from? They're in 3rd grade right now, and they don't have an instrument to hone their gift so they can be a blessing to us musically in the next 20 years. So it's up to us to cultivate what we're gonna eventually listen to.
The 2009 festival featured jazz greats Al Jarreau and Patty Austin. Artists and jazz enthusiasts are excited about bringing the Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival back in 2010. For the Omaha News, I'm Bettia Williamson.
For more information on the Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival, visit omahajazzandblues.com.
The Omaha Tax Day Tea Party is planning a rally tomorrow at Rick's Cafe Boatyard in downtown Omaha. The rally will feature speakers focusing on issues regarding abortion, cutting taxes, and fiscal responsibility. This rally is being supported by the Nebraska 912 Project.
Brian Carson was one of the Elkhorn 8 and sentenced for the murder of his father, Brian Carson. More on this later.
The movie Wigger will be premiering this month. We'll be speaking to director Dr. Omowale Akatunde about the movie. This and more coming up on the Omaha News.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is where you'll find unlimited possibilities. At UNO, our 15,000 students are learning what they need to know to join the workforce of tomorrow. With 200 programs, students participate in innovative academics and are engaged in dynamic campus and community life. The University of Nebraska at Omaha. Step up to the metropolitan advantage at bmav.com.
Maverick Sports has found a classy new home for football, hockey, and basketball coverage. Classical 90.7 KVNO. For schedule information, go to kvno.org. KVNO, the voice of Omaha's team, the UNO Mavericks.
Feed your brain with original programs from the Knowledge Network. TKN combines the resources of educational and television experts from UNO Television, Omaha Public Schools, Westside Community Schools, Metropolitan Community College, and Creighton University. TKN members produce a variety of programming with collaboration from students working in front of and behind the camera. The Knowledge Network. Feed your brain by watching Cox 17 and 18.
You're watching the Omaha News.
The movie Wigger tells a story of a white male raised in a black community. As he tries to find his place in the world, he faces much opposition from his father as well as his surroundings. Wigger will premiere during the Malcolm X Festival on Monday, April 19th at the Great Escapes Theater at 6 p.m. Joining us in the chair is the chair of the Black Studies Department at UNO, Dr. Omowale Akintunde. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
All right, and so what inspired you to make this movie?
Well, you know, I've been telling everyone that this film represents the culmination of a lifetime of work. As an academic and as a filmmaker, it's the perfect merging of my two lives. All my life as an academic, I've dealt with issues of race, class, gender, and particularly whiteness and white privilege, and the notion that we're falsely living in a post-racial society. So I wanted to create a film that addressed all of those issues.
Sure. And why did you choose to shoot the movie here in Omaha?
Well, first of all, besides the fact that I absolutely love Omaha, I thought that it was the perfect landscape for this story because this story is about improbabilities. It's about people aspiring toward dreams that supposedly are confined by circumstance. So what better way to tell this story than to do it through the lens of this young white guy who lives in Midwest heartland of America, who has ambitions of becoming an R&B singer, who wants to be completely accepted within African American society. Why not here? The perfect place for it.
Sure, and movies can take a long time to make. How long did it take to film this movie? What was the process like?
Now, when you say process, do you mean from conception to fruition, or do you mean?
Yeah, from that whole process there.
Well, it started as a thesis film during my New York Film Academy conservatory experience. And I did this as my thesis project. I was fortunate enough to get Emmy-nominated actor Meshach Taylor to be in it. And from there, after I graduated from the New York Film Academy, and I got the job here in Omaha and saw what a great place it was, I decided this was the perfect place because it took place in the Midwest. We spent a year casting in LA and New York. And we went into rehearsals, and we shot the film here on location this past July and August, and it premieres on Monday.
Sure, and you mentioned a big name in the movie, Meshach Taylor, and you also have Anna Hansford. Was it difficult to get them for the movie?
Absolutely. Actually, it wasn't very difficult. Actually, I credit Meshach with really getting this whole momentum going. I met him through an acquaintance of his daughter. He was kind enough to meet me in Pasadena one day at a tea house, and I had been a lifelong fan of his work on designing women. And once he got on board, he sort of introduced me to people, and then things sort of just snowballed from there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the movie Wigger premieres at the Great Escapes Theater on Monday, April 19th at 6 p.m. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
There is a new dance that not only encourages kids to recycle, but is also fun and gets kids moving.
And the Mexican-American Football Association hosted their annual tournament this week. This and more coming up on the Omaha News.
Hi, I'm Meshach Taylor, actor and public television supporter, encouraging you to become a fan of UNO Television. Located on the University of Nebraska at Omaha campus, UNO Television is a unit of the College of Communication, Fine Arts, and Media. Student crew members are trained and placed in broadcasting positions that give them real-world experience. Many students move seamlessly into jobs within the local television market. UNO Television, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
If you're an Omaha kid feeling tired and slow, here's the numbers you ought to know. Eat 5 fruits and veggies every day. Drink 4 glasses of water, okay? Eat 3 foods from the berry scene. And just 2 hours in front of a screen. Now take 1 hour to move around. And that's the Healthy Kids Countdown.
For games, ideas, and other fun stuff about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Visit livewellomahakids.org. But don't stay long.
Only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information on issues that really matter to Nebraskans. Watch Consider This, a program produced by UNO Television to give you more information than your typical newscast.
Inspired with your classical companion, Classical 90.7 KVNO.
You're watching the Omaha News.
The Mexican-American Basketball Association is hosting its annual basketball tournaments this week. Kelvin Nesbitt tells us how this tournament acts as a way to combine culture and basketball.
Many men in the Omaha area of Mexican-American and Native American descent are traveling around the Midwest as part of the Mexican-American Basketball Association's spring tournaments.
Mexican-American Basketball Association, this is our 56th annual tournament. We got all teams throughout the Midwest that travel up here. And the way we get them to travel to our tournament is, we respect by going to their tournaments. So for example, we go to Kansas City, we go to Chicago, we go all the way down to Dallas, Houston, we've been to Denver before. And they even got tournaments actually in Mexico. We've never made it that far.
I'm standing outside the Satt Fieldhouse on UNO's campus. One of the many locations around the Midwest, the Mexican-American Basketball Association holds their annual tournaments.
Kind of neat because it's good for the community, for one, because we get local sponsors that participate. It's just nice, you know what I mean? South Omaha, there's a lot of tradition in South Omaha too.
Despite this being a predominantly Mexican-American and Native American event, they do allow people of different ethnicities to participate. However, they do appreciate being able to surround themselves around people who share the same cultural backgrounds and beliefs.
It allows people of an ethnicity and type of culture they can relate to each other with their backgrounds and history and just have a good time in an event like basketball to play. So it allows us to come together and just play a lot.
For the Omaha News, I'm Kelvin Nesbitt.
Now, the Mexican-American Basketball Association will continue hosting basketball tournaments around the Midwest this spring.
An Elkhorn man was sentenced to up to 80 years in prison Tuesday morning for the murder of his father. Ryan Carson had pleaded guilty to first-degree murder charges. Ryan Carson, Ryan King, and Colton Novascone murdered Brian Carson last year in his Elkhorn residence. Douglas County District Judge James Gleason also sentenced Colton Novascone up to 55 years in prison. Ryan Carson, King, and Novascone committed the murder after Ryan Carson found his father was sleeping with his girlfriend.
Creative measures are being taken to encourage recycling. As Felicia Mesidou reports, these activities are a fun spin on how kids can help the environment.
It's the dance that have people teaming up across the nation to reinforce the message of preserving our environment. Reduce, reuse, and recycle is the slogan of the movement and is being used as a tool to promote awareness for the United Nations World Environment Day. UNO's faculty and students have been traveling to local schools to teach the flash mob dance and the importance of being environment friendly. UNO Professor David Corbin expands more on the concept of the project and how it works.
A flash mob is when people learn something or they decide to meet in a certain place at a certain time, but they probably haven't rehearsed anything or done anything together as the whole group until the time that they all get together. And it serves two main purposes. We're teaching them about how to take care of the environment, and at the same time, we're teaching them to be physically active.
Expectations for the dance's effectiveness run high.
So the idea is to raise awareness and then maybe eventually go to the next step and say, well, maybe we can change policies.
A final performance of the flash mob dance will be presented to the public at the Joslyn Art Museum May 1st for Environment Day. For anyone else who is interested in learning a full lesson of flash mob dance, please visit teachertube.com and search for the 3 R's dance. For the Omaha News, I'm Felicia Mesidou.
TeacherTube.com not only has the 3 R's dance, but has other activities to help children learn.
This week is our last newscast of the season, but please rejoin us in the fall for a new season.
Thanks for joining us and have a great summer.
UNO represents the commitment that the community makes toward a quality education.
Why would you not want to come to an institution that's as vibrant and alive as this institution is?
Feed your brain with original programs from the Knowledge Network. TKN combines the resources of educational and television experts from UNO Television, Omaha Public Schools, Westside Community Schools, Metropolitan Community College, and Creighton University. TKN members produce a variety of programming with collaboration from students working in front of and behind the camera. The Knowledge Network. Feed your brain by watching Cox 17 and 18.